My family sold my deceased mother's estate without telling me and kept all the money. What they didn't know was that hidden in that house was a patent worth millions that my mother left specifically for me. I found out my childhood home was being demolished from a Facebook post. Not from my family. Not from a lawyer. From Mrs. Chun, our elderly neighbor of 30 years, who posted, "Sad to see the Morrison house coming down tomorrow. End of an era. So many memories." I stared at that post for 10 minutes, my coffee going cold in my hand. My mother had died 4 months earlier. Pancreatic cancer. I'd been with her at the end, holding her hand in hospice while the rest of my family was too busy to visit. "They don't understand you like I do," she'd whispered the day before she passed. "Promise me you'll remember what I taught you. Promise me you'll look." "Look for what, Mom?" She'd smiled, squeezed my hand weakly. "You'll know. You always saw things they didn't." Those were nearly her last words to me. I'd been estranged from my siblings for years. My older brother Derek and my sister Patricia had always been the favorites. The successful ones. Derek was a corporate lawyer. Patricia married a surgeon. They lived in the right neighborhoods, joined the right clubs, said the right things. I was the disappointment. The one who became a teacher instead of pursuing something prestigious. The one who asked too many questions and didn't play family politics. The one Mom actually talked to. After the funeral, Derek had been executor of the estate. "We'll handle everything," he'd said, not quite meeting my eyes. "The house needs to be dealt with. We'll let you know." That was 4 months ago. I'd heard nothing. And now Mrs. Chun was posting about demolition. I drove to the house immediately. It was a 2-hour drive from my apartment to the suburb where I'd grown up. The whole way, my hands gripped the steering wheel too tight, my mind racing. When I pulled up, there was already a dumpster in the driveway. A sold sign with demolition scheduled stamped across it. A crew truck parked on the street. I sat in my car staring at my childhood home. The blue shutters my mother had painted. The garden she tended every weekend. The porch where we'd had countless conversations. All of it about to be erased. Mrs. Chun came out of her house when she saw my car. She was crying. "Oh, sweetie, I'm so sorry. I thought you knew. I wouldn't have posted if I'd known." "When was it sold?" 3 weeks ago. Some developer bought it. They're putting up townhouses." She touched my arm. "Your brother was here last month clearing things out. I asked about you, and he said you'd already gotten your share." My share? Of a house I didn't know was being sold. I thanked Mrs. Chun and walked up to the front door. It was unlocked. Inside, the house was empty. Completely stripped. The furniture gone. The pictures off the walls. Even the curtains removed. My childhood, packed up and discarded without a word to me. I called Derek immediately. "Allison, what's up?" His voice was distracted, like I was interrupting something important. "You sold Mom's house." "Oh, yeah. I meant to call you about that. It's been hectic with work." "You sold our mother's house without telling me." "Look, the estate needed to be settled. The house was just sitting there. We got a good offer from a developer. It made sense to take it." "We? Who's we?" "Patricia and me. We're the executors. We handled everything properly. The estate lawyer signed off on everything." "And my share?" Silence. Then, "Allison, you weren't listed in the will for the house. Mom left it to be divided between Patricia and me. You got the personal items we set aside for you." "What personal items?" "Nobody contacted me. We left boxes at Patricia's house. Some of Mom's jewelry, photo albums, that kind of thing. You can pick them up whenever." "Derek, that house had 30 years of memories." "It was just a house, Allison. We split the money evenly, Patricia and I. The estate is settled. I'm sorry you're upset, but this is what Mom wanted." "That's bullshit and you know it." "Look, I don't have time for drama. The estate is closed. If you have legal issues, take it up with the probate lawyer. I have to go." He hung up. I stood in the empty living room where my mother and I had spent countless hours talking, and I wanted to scream. But screaming wouldn't change anything. And I remembered what my mother had said, "Promise me you'll look." If my family thought they could erase her this easily, they didn't know her at all. And they definitely didn't know what she'd left behind. I had maybe 24 hours before the demolition crew started. The notice on the door said work would begin at 8 a.m. the next morning. I spent that evening thinking about my mother. About the stories she'd told me over the years that my siblings had never bothered to listen to. She'd been an inventor. Not professionally, she'd never pursued it. But she was constantly sketching ideas, building prototypes in the garage, thinking about how things could work better. "I wanted to start a company once," she told me when I was 16. "Had ideas for household products that could have changed things. But your father didn't think it was practical. Said we needed stability, not risks. Your grandparents agreed. So I put it all away." "What happened to the ideas?" "Oh, they're around. Tucked away safe. Maybe someday someone will find them and think they're worth something." She'd also told me about her hope chest. an old tradition where women would collect items for their future life. My mother's version was different. It's not just linens and dishes, she laughed. It's everything I hope to do someday. Everything I dreamed about. I keep it safe where only someone who really knows me would think to look. I'd never found it as a kid, though I'd search playfully. But I was a kid then. Now, I was 34, I knew my mother better than anyone, and I had hours to search a house before it was destroyed forever. I went back that night at 11 p.m. The crew truck was gone. The street was quiet. I used the key I'd kept from childhood, the one I'd never turned in because this house was always supposed to be home. Inside was dark and hollow. I used my phone flashlight and started in the obvious places. Basement, nothing but bare concrete. Main floor closets, empty. Kitchen, stripped. I went upstairs to what had been my mother's bedroom. Empty. Closet empty. Bathroom empty. Then I went to the attic. The attic had always been my mother's space. My father never went up there. Derek and Patricia thought it was just storage. But Mom had spent hours up there over the years, and she'd always smile when I'd ask what she was doing. Just organizing memories, she'd say. The attic stairs creaked as I climbed. The air smelled like dust and old wood. My flashlight swept across empty space. The boxes and furniture that had been up here were gone, but the structure was still there. The beams, the floorboards, the walls. I started checking everything, looking for anything unusual. My mother was clever. She wouldn't hide something valuable where it could be easily found or accidentally discovered. I checked along the walls, behind the old insulation, inside the eaves. Nothing. Then I remembered something. When I was 12, I'd been playing up here and stepped on a loose floorboard. Mom had come up immediately, fixed it with careful precision, and told me to play in other areas of the attic from then on. At the time, I thought she was just worried about safety. Now, I searched the floor methodically, testing each board. Most were solid. But in the far corner, near the small window overlooking the backyard, I found it. A section of flooring that gave slightly under pressure. Not obviously loose, you have to be looking for it. I pried up the board carefully. Underneath was a space about 2 feet by 3 feet, lined with plastic sheeting to protect against moisture. Inside was a metal box. Fireproof. Locked. My heart was pounding as I lifted it out. It was heavy. Something substantial inside. The lock was a combination lock. For digits. I tried her birthday. Nothing. My birthday. Nothing. Her wedding anniversary. Nothing. Then I tried 0614. June 14th. The day I was born. Not just the date, the day she always said changed her life. The day she told me, over and over, was her greatest achievement. The lock clicked open. Inside the box was a leather-bound notebook, several folders of documents, a USB drive, and a letter with my name on it in my mother's handwriting. I opened the letter first, sitting on the dusty attic floor with my flashlight propped up. My dearest Allison, if you're reading this, I'm gone and you've remembered what I taught you. To look deeper, to question, to find what others overlook. Your brother and sister will handle my estate according to the will. They'll split the house and the obvious assets. They'll think they got everything. Let them. What's in this box is worth more than anything in that will, and it's yours alone. It's everything I couldn't be, waiting for someone who would appreciate it. Inside you'll find my notebooks with 30 years of product designs and inventions. Provisional patents I filed but never pursued. They're still valid for 1 year from filing. Dates are marked. Prototypes and technical specifications. Market research I conducted on my own. The deed to a piece of land I bought with my inheritance from my mother. It's been in a trust under my maiden name. No one knows about it except my lawyer, Mr. Howard Chun. His contact information is in the folder. I couldn't build these dreams. I was talked out of it, convinced to be practical, told to put family first. But you're braver than I was. Smarter. You question things. You don't accept that's just how it is. Build what I couldn't. Make these ideas real. And when you do, know that every success is us, mother and daughter, finally doing what we should have done together. I love you more than I ever had words to express. Mom. I read that letter 3 times, crying so hard I could barely see the words. Then I opened the notebooks. Page after page of designs. Household products. Kitchen tools. Organizational systems. Each one sketched in detail with notes about materials, manufacturing, potential costs, market analysis. My mother hadn't just been dreaming. She'd been planning. Researching, building a business that never got to exist. One design in particular caught my eye. A modular storage system for small kitchens. Customizable, space-saving, beautiful. The sketches showed how it could be configured dozens of different ways for different spaces. I flipped through the specifications. She'd worked out everything. Materials that were durable and eco-friendly. Manufacturing processes that could scale. Price points that were competitive but profitable. She'd even designed the packaging. And in the folder, I found the provisional patent she'd filed 8 months before her cancer diagnosis. Still valid for 4 more months. The other folders contain more designs. A revolutionary closet organization system. A laundry room optimization kit. A pantry management solution. Each one brilliant. Each one patentable. Each one marketable. The USB drive had videos. I pulled out my laptop and watched my mother, healthy and vibrant, demonstrating each product prototype she'd built. Explaining the benefits. Showing how they solved real problems. She'd been preparing for this. For me. She knew she might not survive, and she made sure everything I needed was here waiting. The last folder contained the deed. 60 acres of undeveloped land 2 hours north of the city. My mother had bought it 20 years ago with money from her own mother's estate, money she'd kept separate and secret. Future value, her note said. Hold it or sell it, but it's yours. I looked up the property on my phone. The area had been rural when she bought it. Now it was in the path of major development. The land was worth approximately $4 million. I sat in that attic until sunrise, reading every word, studying every design, understanding what my mother had left me. Not just ideas, not just property, a chance to build the life she'd wanted, the business she dreamed of, the legacy that was truly hers. Derek and Patricia thought they'd gotten the inheritance. They'd sold the house, split the money, and moved on. They had no idea what they'd missed. What my mother had made sure they would never find. I left before the demolition crew arrived, carrying the metal box and its contents to my car. Everything my mother had hidden from me, rescued hours before it would have been buried in rubble. The first thing I did was call Mr. Howard Chun, the lawyer my mother had mentioned. He was semi-retired, but he remembered her immediately. Allison Morrison, your mother talked about you constantly. I've been waiting for you to call. You knew about the box. I knew she'd left something important for you. I have additional documents here, the trust for the land, transfer papers, everything you'll need. When can you come by? I met him that afternoon. He was a gentle man in his 70s who'd clearly respected my mother deeply. She came to see me every few months, he explained. Always updating things, making sure everything was properly documented. She was very specific that certain assets were to pass outside the will, directly to you through separate trusts and vehicles. He gave me folders of paperwork. The land deed in my name through a trust my mother had established. Documentation showing she'd kept it completely separate from marital assets. It was legally and entirely mine. Your siblings don't know about any of this, he said. Your mother made sure of that. She said they made their choices about what mattered to them, and you'd made yours. She wanted you to have what you valued. The second thing I did was hire a patent attorney. She reviewed everything, the provisional patents, the designs, the documentation. This is incredible work, she said, spreading the notebooks across her conference table. These aren't just sketches. These are fully developed product designs with market research and manufacturing plans. Your mother was essentially running a business development operation solo. Can we still protect them? The provisional patents are almost expired. We file full utility patents immediately. We also file design patents for the aesthetic elements. And we trademark the brand name. We want to call it. I didn't hesitate. Morrison Home Solutions. After my mother, Eleanor Morrison. Perfect. Give me 3 weeks. The third thing I did was hire a product development firm. I showed them my mother's designs, particularly the modular kitchen storage system. The lead designer actually gasped when she saw the sketches. This is genius. The way it adapts to different spaces, the sustainable materials, this could revolutionize small space living. How fast can you make prototypes? For something this well designed, 3 months. But we need capital for manufacturing. I thought about the land. For $1 million. I'll have funding, I said. I sold 30 of the 60 acres for $3.2 million to a developer. Kept 30 acres for future appreciation. Used the money to fund Morrison Home Solutions. We spent a year developing the products. Perfecting the prototypes. Setting up manufacturing with a company that specialized in sustainable materials. Designing packaging that was beautiful and eco-friendly. I worked my teaching job by day and built my mother's company by night and on weekends. Every decision, I thought about what she would have wanted. What she would have chosen. The kitchen storage system launched first. I called it the Eleanor Collection. We started with a quiet launch. Website, social media, targeted ads. I didn't expect much at first. The first month, we sold 800 units. The second month, a home organization influencer with 2 million followers featured our product. We sold 5,000 units. By month 6, we were in 3 major retail chains. A year after finding that metal box, Morrison Home Solutions had revenue of $12 million. The Eleanor Collection had won 3 design awards. We'd launched the closet system and the pantry solution, both equally successful. I was featured in Business Insider, Teacher Launches $1 million home solutions company based on her mother's designs. The article included photos of my mother's original sketches next to the finished products. It told her story, the inventor who'd never gotten to build her dreams, and the daughter who'd made them real. That's when my family called. Derek called first. I was in the office, the actual office we'd rented, with 15 employees, when his name popped up on my phone. I let it go to voicemail. He called back immediately. I declined again. Then Patricia called. Then Derek again. Then Patricia. Finally I answered. Allison, what the hell? Derek's voice was strained. I just saw the article. Morrison Home Solutions? Those are Mom's designs. Yes. Where did you get them? Those should be part of the estate. They're family property. They're my property. Mom left them specifically to me. That's impossible. I went through everything when we cleared the house. You went through what you could see. You didn't look deeper. Silence. Then, where were they? That's not your concern anymore. Allison, be reasonable. Those patents and designs are worth millions. They should be split among the family. We'll need to involve the estate lawyer. Go ahead. Involve whoever you want. The patents are in my name and my mother's estate name, held in a trust she established specifically for me outside of her will. Mr. Howard Chun handled it. It's completely legal and ironclad. Howard Chun? Who's that? Mom's lawyer. The one she saw for years. The one you never knew about because you never bothered to really know Mom. Patricia grabbed the phone. Allison, listen. We can work this out. You're doing something amazing with Mom's ideas and we're so proud. But surely there's room for family involvement. Derek and I have business experience. You have experience selling things that weren't yours to sell. That's not fair. The house was in the will. And you couldn't even tell me you were selling it. You cut me out completely. Kept all the money. Didn't give me a chance to buy it, or even get anything meaningful from it. You thought I was worth some boxes of jewelry and photo albums. We thought you'd understand. I understand perfectly. You got exactly what Mom's will said you should get. The house. The obvious assets. And I got what she specifically left for me. The things that actually mattered. This isn't over, Derek said, taking the phone back. We'll contest the patents. We'll claim you stole family intellectual property. Go ahead. My lawyers will enjoy the billable hours. But Derek, you should know that everything is documented. The trust was established 10 years ago. The patents were filed in Mom's name before she died. Everything was transferred legally through proper channels. You have no case. We'll see about that. Yes, we will. And Derek, when you lose, and you will lose, I want you to remember something. You sold Mom's house, and kept the money without telling me. You treated me like I didn't matter. You got exactly what you deserved. I hung up. They did try to contest it. Hired lawyers. Filed claims. Argued that the patents should have been disclosed during estate proceedings. Mr. Chun handled everything. He showed that the trust was established years before my mother's death, completely separate from her will. That she'd filed the patents individually, not as marital property. That everything had been handled legally and properly. The judge dismissed their claim within 3 months. Mrs. Morrison, the judge said, looking at Patricia and Derek, clearly established separate property and intellectual work outside of her marriage and her will. Her daughter is the legal beneficiary of those specific assets. The estate has no claim. I watched my siblings leave the courthouse, their expensive lawyers trailing behind them. They'd spent probably $100,000 trying to take what wasn't theirs. They never spoke to me again. I didn't care. Morrison Home Solutions continued to grow. We expanded the product line, hired more staff, opened a second warehouse. 3 years after finding that metal box, we hit $50 million in annual revenue. I was 37 years old, running a company that employed 120 people with products in stores across the country. I bought a house. A small one, not ostentatious. With a workshop where I could continue developing products. Where I could sketch and prototype and build, just like my mother had done. I kept her notebooks on my desk. Her USB drive backed up in multiple locations. Her letter framed on the wall where I could see it every day. Every product we launched, I included a note in the packaging, designed with love by Eleanor Morrison, brought to life by Morrison Home Solutions. I wanted everyone who bought our products to know her name. To know that somewhere there was a woman who'd had brilliant ideas and hadn't gotten to pursue them. But her daughter had. And her legacy was in every home, every organization system, every solution that made someone's life a little easier. The land I'd kept, the other 30 acres, I donated to a women's entrepreneurship center. A place where women with business ideas could get training, mentorship, and funding. The Eleanor Morrison Center for Women Entrepreneurs opened 5 years after I found that box. It's helped launch 63 businesses so far. At the opening ceremony, I told my mother's story. About the inventor who was talked out of her dreams. Who hid them away hoping someday someone would find them and think they were worth something. She was worth everything, I said to the crowd. And now, through this center, other women won't have to hide their dreams. They'll have a place to build them. I still teach, part-time now, because my mother was a teacher too, and she taught me that some inheritances are measured in wisdom, not wealth. Derek and Patricia? I heard through the grapevine that Derek's law firm had financial troubles. That Patricia's marriage ended in divorce. I felt nothing about it. They'd made their choices. Last year, on what would have been my mother's 70th birthday, I launched our biggest product yet. A complete home office solution for people working from home. Modular, beautiful, sustainable. I called it the Hope Collection. Because that's what my mother's hidden box really was. Not just patents and designs. Hope. The hope that someone would find it. The hope that her dreams weren't wasted. The hope that her daughter would understand what she'd left behind. The most valuable inheritances aren't always in the will. They're not always obvious. They're hidden in attics and floorboards and the stories your parents tell when everyone else isn't listening. My family sold my mother's house without telling me. They thought they'd gotten everything worth having. They were wrong. What my mother left me was worth more than any house. More than any obvious inheritance. She left me her dreams, her brilliance, her hope, and the chance to make them all real. Thanks for listening to this story. If you made it to the end, leave a comment. What legacy has someone left you that wasn't in a will? What hidden inheritance changed your life? Remember, the people who really know you leave you what really matters. Everything else is just furniture.